Okay. Welcome back to Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classics, Non-Classics. This is episode number 2039 and Doubleshot number 1933. These two trades here are both books where Rob Liefeld had a hand in them. Well, one basically he helped create. He worked on the artwork for it. The other one he created the group. Alright? First up it is Hawk and Dove. Ghost and Demon. This collects the second volume of Hawk and Dove released in the 80s. Yes, in 1988, Rob Liefeld did the artwork. The writing here was done by basically the Ketzels, Barbara and Carl Ketzler. Excuse me. Mostly put for this mini-series, this 5-issue limited series. Yeah, I believe it's 5 issues, right? Yeah, it's 5 issues. In this book, we see the debut of Dawn Granger, which for some reason sticker is going to cover it up here. Yeah, Dawn Granger makes her debut in issue number 1. Dawn Granger was created to be a replacement for the late Dawn Hall, who got killed off. Believe it or not, at this point in time when this book came, it had been 2 years since Crisis on Infinite Earths. Hawk had been on his own doing solo work, and the way this book was setting up something, and then you really next volume, it gets completely ignored. Yep. Now, basically, also we have debut of a character who Rob Liefeld creates for them, their own villain, and his name is Quetzal. Yes, Quetzal. Castro, excuse me. He even recently appeared in a 2-issue storyline with Gail Simone wrote and Rob Liefeld drew it. For Teen Titans as a fill-in story, which is still not put in trade for some reason, despite the fact you could easily put in trade. It also featured a female Hawk, because Hank Hall was dead at that point. Now, in this book, basically, Dawn becomes Dove. Hawk is against it, because he's like, wait, Dove is dead, and it's pointed out to him, no, Dawn is dead. Yeah, the reason why he does not want her partner, because it reminds him of his brother. That's simply put, basically how he's written here. And throughout this book, he does come to accept Dawn as basically his partner. And it's heavily implied, especially by his parents, that the way this book was written, and by the way, the next book basically ignores this, it's almost seemed like that Dawn and Hank were set to... It's like, I've had this theory going for a long time about these two. My theory is that maybe Liefeld probably maybe had a hand in this. It's like, the way this book is written, it's almost like Hank has got a thing for Dawn, despite the fact he's got a girlfriend. It's almost seemed like these two become a romantic couple, and then you get next volume and they both got their own significant others. Yeah, it's completely ignored because, oh, he sees her as like a little sister. Really? Heck, he's met his parents. They think they're a couple. It's almost like this was set up to be a relationship, and it goes nowhere. No, seriously, it goes nowhere. Yes, and still to this day, they were basically partners for a long time. Excuse me a minute. Well, that was until the end of the second volume of the third volume, which launched right afterwards. Liefeld actually left DC Comics because of the last issue of this miniseries. It's very weirdly put together. It involved basically going to another dimension. And yeah. Liefeld has sent the... Now, here's the thing. This issue 5 right here. This issue here, this is the issue of what I heard. This is the reason why Rob Liefeld originally left DC Comics back in the 80s. This issue. Because the way he had the panels basically put together, it was the same way it was that he would do for Image. Turn on its side, and a weird art style. It has some weird cutaways here. I don't blame Rob Liefeld for this. Okay, it was not his fault the way this final issue turned out. It was, yeah, like I said, not his fault. The person to blame for this is DC Editorial. They cut up all his panels and basically put it together the way they wanted to, and that's why this issue was so confusing. Because Liefeld had basically different plans in this book. Afterwards, he left DC and never returned to them again until 2011. Actually, more like briefly in like 2006. But yeah, pretty good miniseries. I love this book. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. And here's a shocking thing comes to Hawk and Dove. Did you know this actually is one of 3 trades that's ever been released for Hawk and Dove? You're thinking, what, really? Yeah, really. Because there's also one more book I have to review here. And you're probably thinking, which one? Hawk and Dove Silver Age, which all the book collects is their debut appearance from Showcase, their brief ongoing series from the 60s, and a couple of Teen Titans. And that's it. That's all that's there. I'm going to read it probably at some point. But that'll be the last Hawk and Dove trade. And of course there's this book obviously, and the one to collect the Rob Liefeld run. Sadly, the 3rd volume has never collected and trade. Nope, never has. To my knowledge, I do not know the reason for it. Heck, the 4th volume, which by the way, does not feature either of these two. You're thinking, really? How the heck is that possible? It features a complete different Hawk and Dove, and this book also features a lineup of Suicide Squad. No, seriously, it was also a miniseries released back in 1999. Okay, what happened, Hawk? The reason why the ongoing series became raft, that's why it was canceled after 20 issues. Armageddon 2001 was the reason for it, and basically, from what I've heard about that story, is that there was this guy called Monarch who became a dictator, rule the world, and the plan, where it was going to be Captain Atom under the suit. Somehow in the year 1991, this was leaked. So DC panicked and changed it to Hank Hall. And then he died. Yeah, he became extinct. And that was his code name. He became crazy. And he died in 0 Hour. And he remained dead until Blackest Night. He remained dead for a long time. Though he was replaced as Hawk by Dawn's sister, Ginger. I think it was Holly. I think her name was Holly Granger, I believe her name is. Yes, and she was the Hawk for a long time, up until Blackest Night, where she got killed by a Black Lantern Hawk, and then of course he became Hawk again. As far as I can tell, Dawn apparently does not say anything about the fact that he murdered her sister, and they became part of Birds of Prey. The book, and of course, the DC relaunch happened. It had a very brief ongoing series. And here's the weird thing: after the book ended, they never appeared ever again until Titans Hunt came out, and then they haven't appeared since then. Yeah, I think they're great characters. I kind of wish DC would give these 2 characters a lot more love. This book, technically, in a way, Liefeld nothing really to do with, but he did create the group here in this book. We have Cable and X-Force Volume 2 Wanted. This comes on the heels of Avengers First Section. We have a brand new lineup for X-Force. This is basically the classic X-Force. There are 2 X-Force teams. I've already finished wrapping up my review for Uncanny X-Force Volume 2. This is the other X-Force series. Because for some strange reason, Marvel published 2 X-Force ongoing series at the same time. And this was the first and only time Marvel has ever done this. Yes. Book written by Dennis Hopeless. The lineup included Cable, Domino, Colossus, yes, Colossus, Dr. Nemesis, Forge, and Boom Boom was also part of the team too. It's almost like basically a reunion of the classic team. Mostly. That's mostly for what it is. But we started with 4, and of course they add Hope Summers to the team, and she's part of the group up until like the end of the series. Heck, she's even part of the group kind of in the relaunch book by Cy Spurrier. And throughout this book, basically we have it where KMX first do some destruction, and it gets the attention of the Avengers Unity Squad. Fun fact: did you know this particular event of these issues took place between issues 4 and 5? Why? How do I know? You might ask. Well, because Wonder Man and Sunfire are not on the team yet, along with the Wasp. They're not there yet. Though Wonder Man and Wasp for PR reasons, I believe Sunfire was actually recruiting Wolverine to the roster. And Havoc's basically questioning Cable's actions. Yet for some reason, Dennis Hopeless made it where in this book, for a good chunk of the series, occasionally all the time, where the Needles became recurring characters in this very book. Now you might be curious though, is there like, aside from X-Force, now this book does contain the first 5 issues plus material from Marvel Now .1. Now here's the strange thing. Did you know prior to this book, Forge died? Yeah, he died. In Astonishing X-Men, when Warren Ellis wrote the book in 2008. This book came out in 2012. The guy had been dead for 4 years. And then he just comes back without any explanation, despite the fact his headquarters was blown up in issue 30 of Astonishing X-Men. Yeah, Warren Ellis kills this guy off, and he was still in love with Storm, despite the fact at the time she was still married to Black Panther. Now she isn't, at this point in time. At the time this book came out, they got the marriage to null because of stupidity. I still think it was a stupid idea to break those two up. And of course, she decided to hook up with Wolverine. This lasted for about 2 years before Wolverine died, and currently she's kind of getting back together with Black Panther on and off for years. Also in this book, we also have it where Domino is not with Cable, because a lot of the time Domino is usually written to be Cable's love interest. Here, she has sex with Colossus. No, seriously, he gets on top of her, takes off her top of her suit. It's like, oh, well, what's this button do? And of course, yeah. So Colossus, the guy basically known for, like, his love interest primarily over the years has been Kitty Pryde. And here he's having sex with Domino. And for some reason, this carried over into an X-Men book. Yes, I have no idea why. But for this book, it's pretty good. I like it. Dennis Hopeless does a great job for this book. And you have Salvador LaRocca doing the artwork. Yes, Salvador LaRocca did this artwork. And I still think his artwork for Star Wars was garbage. Because it was terrible. Like, the weakness of that artwork was the human faces. They were pure garbage. I still don't know why the heck Salvador LaRocca drew him that way for. Here, they look perfectly fine. I like his artwork here. I just didn't like his art for Star Wars. I think that was his worst art run he's ever done. And that's my honest opinion. Yep. That first trade, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And you might be thinking, how many more trades did they go for that one? There's like 2 left. And that's it. And unlike Uncanny X-Force, this book lasted for 19 issues. Now, I've technically talked about the last couple issues as part of the Vendetta crossover, which brought back Strife. So I've got a couple more trades still left to go, and that'll be pretty much up with this one. Yep. So yeah, that's it, particular view. Next up is going to be Chainsaw Man. And hopefully get a chance to Bleach and My Hero Academia in the next video. Bye.